everybody watched what happened in your country not so long ago. You are under a crippling debt, and you were trying to figure out how to repay the IMF debt and others, and you wanted to impose taxes which are very few and scarce, actually, in Kenya. And it backfired. People came out onto the streets. You know, tried to restore order. There were many people in those protests who were killed. And then you had to walk it all back. So firstly, did you do the wrong thing by sending the troops out against people who were protesting that they couldn't afford these taxes?
For your information, Kenya is a robustly democratic country, and protests are part of our democracy, the freedom of people to associate and to choose what to do. And that is perfectly in order. And restoring law and order is also the responsibility of law enforcement agencies. What was in Nairobi, apart from the protests, were criminal gangs that burned down parliament, burned down the Chief Justice office, burned down people's property. Those, like happens everywhere in the world, had to be managed by our security agencies. And any excesses that may have occurred, there is an independent policing authority that investigates and takes those who may have overstepped their mandate into account. So what happened in Kenya is perfectly in order. We are trying to manage a situation. As you have said yourself, we have serious debt issues. We have a world that has serious climate conditions. We swung from a flood into a drought, and we have serious issues, and we're trying to manage and mobilize domestic resources, working with different actors. If it doesn't work, we tried a different way. Kenya is now stable. We are moving into the future in a predictable, orderly manner because we are a democracy.
Mr. President, how will you do that? Because clearly you were advised by, I assume, your own economists and international economists that you needed to start raising funds. You needed to get some taxes, or however you raise your funds, in order to pay down the debt and to, I guess, pay for development. What is your next step on this issue? How will you do what you need to do without, you know, upsetting the people who can't afford it and trying to satisfy your own people?
It is always a balance. Most of the situation that you saw, part of it was occasioned by misinformation, fake news, and many other aspects of the protest. More explanation is going into our strategy going into the future. We are working with the international community to find concessional funding long-term at scale to manage our situation, to manage the debt situation. As I talk to you, inflation is down from 9 to 4.3%. Our exchange rate is now stable, and we can be able to do more going forward without pushing too hard on what the people can accommodate.